Are you alone or are you lonely? There's a subtle difference in these words, but an ocean of difference in the meaning. And it's incredibly important that we start to learn what these actually mean so we can better support ourselves, communicate our needs with other people, and look at long-term healing. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Kira Wackett. I'm here with another solo episode of the Untethering Shame podcast, and I am super excited for today's episode because we're going to break down two very important concepts that are often confused and therefore not properly addressed. We're talking about the idea of being alone versus lonely. See, to be alone describes a state of being, literally alone, or without someone around, either in a particular moment, such as me when I sit down to record this right now with no one around me, or without a particular role or connection, such as someone without a partner or living alone. It can be associated with a feeling of loneliness, but in many cases, it's simply a fact about one's current state or present connections. Loneliness, on the other hand, is a far more complex beast. It's a psychological state of longing or lacking, where one feels unfulfilled in their relationships and views themselves as less than those around them in terms of either the number of connections they have or the quality of those relationships. It has to do with type and depth of connection and a state of security within that. Loneliness is an experience independent of how many people you have in your life or your physical proximity to others. I spent years surrounded by people throughout my life with the aches of loneliness omnipresent because those relationships weren't built on a safe, secure, or genuine connection. See, connection is about feeling seen, safe, and heard. It's about feeling understood and that I am worthy of love and connection as I am. But the problem is that when we find ourselves feeling that sense of want or longing, the story we tell ourselves is that somehow we're not deserving of it or have done something to screw up our chances of securing it. And while in some instances that might be true, it's generally a sign that shame is writing the story for your life. We blame others for hurting us or not showing up. We assume we didn't do enough to earn the affection or safety we sought, or assume we should settle for fine or good enough in our relationships to avoid the fear of being alone and lonely. Self-deprecation then floods our minds. What's wrong with me? Why don't they care? Don't I matter? What am I doing wrong? And all this does is keep us stuck in an endless cycle of self-hatred, shame, and avoidance. We deepen the belief that we're the problem, so we take ourselves off the market for genuine connection before it even comes our way. We make ourselves the central pain point in everyone else's life, taking on responsibility for their poor delivery in a relationship and make it okay for them. So what do? First, we have to acknowledge that we're not the problem in everyone else's story, and that you deserve to be seen, feel safe, and be heard. Second, get curious about the role shame's been playing in your life and get clear on what we're truly experiencing or feeling in those moments. Remember, to be alone doesn't have to leave us feeling lonely. And in many ways, being alone is crucial to establishing the sense of self-rooting needed to not lose ourselves in our shame or the assessments and judgments of others. So get out a journal or start a voice memo and ask yourself the following questions. How would you know the difference between when you're alone or feeling lonely? How do you feel about being alone? Does it add or detract from the quality of your life? Where do you feel the deepest sense of longing? And why? What role has your shame been playing in that narrative? Are you isolating, avoiding, or self-sabotaging as a result of shame-based beliefs? How would you know what connection feels like? And what do you need to truly experience it? And how do you make space to work towards it with yourself, as this is truly the most meaningful of any connection we have? Now, be sure to let us know in the comments as you're going through this, you're thinking about these pieces and starting to put some of this reflection into practice, what insights are coming up for you. And of course, what stuck points are getting in the way as you start to really try to configure what are my next steps And what am I really feeling? Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. I truly appreciate you taking the time to listen and hope that you found it valuable. Now, if you did find this insightful, I encourage you to subscribe, leave a review, hit that 5-star button, and of course, share this episode with someone you think could benefit from hearing it. If you're ready to take the next step in your own shame resilience journey, be sure to click the link in the show notes to download my free handout, 5 things shame resilient people do every day and 3 things they don't. And if you're looking for more ways to connect, you'll find links to my website and YouTube channel below, as well as a link to set up a discovery call to go over any questions you have about program offerings and/or next steps in your shame resilience journey. Again, thanks for tuning in. And remember, change takes time, but every step counts. So stay the course, stay hopeful, and stay committed to your well-being. We'll be back with more insightful discussions to support you on your journey. Until then, take care. And I'll catch you next episode.